Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. John Zegar. 8:15. 8:15 on the eastern slope of Colorado. Beautiful evening, beautiful night, beautiful day. I think it was in the low 70s. I'm not real sure, but I'm guessing it was in the low 70s. And that was pretty cool. It actually got kind of hot for a while because we're not used to hot, so it felt hot. I was out running around doing a lot of different things, and made me think, wow, summer is here. Supposed to cool off tomorrow. I think today was 72. I think 71 or 72. And tomorrow it's supposed to be 2 degrees cooler. Get that. Tonight, what am I drinking? Powerade. This is the, with all the electrolytes, orange. I don't have it in any ice. I didn't buy ice tonight, but boy, is that good. I kept it in the freezer, so it's nice and cold. And so I'm enjoying that. This morning I woke up kind of unsure of, my day. I've been struggling the last 2-3 days with old beliefs creeping back in. And as we've talked before many, many times, we need to learn how to block all of those thoughts that creep in and cause old behavior and old thinking. And they serve no purpose anymore. They never served any purpose in the beginning, but they're beliefs that belong to the person that gave them to us. They're not ours. They're just stored in our subconscious, and we all have them, right? We all have them. All those beliefs that were given to us before, the age of 6 or 7. And they were given by other people, adults, based on their beliefs and perceptions. And I don't know, maybe they worked for them, maybe they didn't. It's none of my business, really. And I can say for certain with my parents, my mom in particular, the beliefs that she gave me clearly did not work for her, because it seemed like she was struggling all the time. You know what I mean? And she was trying to pass that crap down to me, and of course, I'm just in this state of hypnosis for 7 years, so what do I know? Okay, I'll take all that stuff. I just absorb it, and then I go on and live my life. And 95 to 99% of our lives, you can argue with me if you want, but you'll lose. This is science. This is neuroscience. 95 to 99% of your day is a program from your subconscious that originated back before the age of 7, from beliefs that adults gave you as a child. And you have been diligently living that program your whole life. Now, just so that we're not making everything negative, and I don't want to do that, there's some stuff that, I don't know, let's say it's your mom or dad or relatives or, I don't know, somebody when you were a little kid. They're passing along their belief systems. Some of their belief systems may be wonderful and great, and they work for you, and you go on and live happily ever after. That's not true for 70% of the people that grow up. There's a large percentage of people who struggle with their life. They might struggle with emotional issues. They might have anxiety, depression, anger, personality disorders, right? Neurotic tendencies. They might even be psychotic from time to time and have to take, different psychotropic medications to balance their thoughts. Gruesome way to live, difficult way to live, and all of that came from beliefs and perceptions you acquired as a child. There is no genes, Doctors way back then, would attribute emotional problems to genetics within your family. Well, that isn't true. Medicine today does not deal with genetics, new medicine. They finally come to the realization that, genetics has nothing to do with it. It's your belief systems and stuff. 33% of people that get well going to Western doctors and having surgeries is a result of their belief system, not the surgery. Science. It's proven now. It's now proven. The surgery is not something that necessarily fixes you. It's called placebo, right? The person believes beyond a doubt that this surgeon and this surgery is going to heal them. And the surgeon might be terrible and screw everything up, but the guy gets well because of the placebo effect. 400,000 people die from side effects to drugs that doctors give every year. And that number's going up. It used to be 300, then it was 250. But anyway, it's around 400 now. Last year? There are people who take bad drugs and believe beyond the shadow of a doubt that the drug is going to heal them. Placebo effect. And they get healed. There was a study where 25 kids, old enough to reason and know what's going on and make decisions for themselves and whatnot, were put on a trial. They all had terminal illnesses. They knew what was going on. They knew they were dying, right? And they were given the opportunity to be on a trial drug because there was no other alternatives out there. There wasn't anything else working. And they pretty much assured people, parents, that, this trial new drug, had not been researched very much, and, there might be a 2, 3, 4% chance that your son or daughter might make it. Out of 25 kids, after the first month, 24 died. The 25th lived because the kid, as they interviewed him as he continued to get older and older and older, believed beyond the shadow of a doubt that his mother said it would work. That's a placebo effect, right? And of course, there's the opposite, which is nocebo, where if you believe your doctor says to you, go home and get your affairs in order, you're going to die in 30 days. You may not even have a disease, but you will die in 30 days. It works both ways. So, today I'm listening to the internet. Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's actually a cell, what did he say? A cell biologist. Pretty incredible. I mean, he's taught at med schools for a long time, and then came to the realization that, nothing is genetics, and disease is 0.04% of the people that get sick. But anyway, I listened to three of his YouTube videos, recent ones, and they were just superb. But he was talking about, I think our bodies have like 50 trillion cells. I've heard that as high as 75 trillion cells. So, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, so it's a lot. But anyway, every cell is kind of like a little human being. It has all the same systems that we have. It has a cardiovascular system, has a digestive system, has a reproductive system, blah, 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 blah. So instead of, this is Dr. Bruce Lipton talking, and this is just me kind of paraphrasing some of the important parts that he had talked about, but so he's basically saying we're not one person like we view ourselves to be, right? And we're a community of, let's go with what he's saying, 50 trillion cells. We're a community of 50 trillion, quote unquote, people. And nothing can happen with one cell controlling the show, or one little group of cells controlling the show. The analogy he gave was, in the world today, there are from time to time wars, right? Wars. And you cannot have a war with just one person deciding there's a war. We live in a community, right? The world, the United States, each country, Democrats, Republicans, blah, 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 blah. And in order to have a war, your community has to be in agreement with that. So he's relaying that to the cells in your body. In order for you to have a disease, your community has to be in agreement with that. You can't have just one or two or a few cells deciding they're going to have a disease and it occurs. What I found interesting in his conversation was that, I don't remember his exact example. I don't remember that part, but say if you have a type of cancer. I just pulled that off the top of my head. Every disease has a number of cells required, right, to be infected in order to have that disease. So if you have, I don't know, I'm just going to make one up, breast cancer, you know, you're upregulating genes, right, that are diseased, that get into your body, and you can't have, 2 or 3 or 8 or 12 or 14 or 22 disease genes upregulated into your body that will produce breast cancer, and you will get breast cancer because there's a number that needs to be in order to have any particular disease. Some diseases require 200 different genes. Some diseases require 400. Some diseases require maybe 1,000 or 1,200 disease genes being upregulated. Likewise, the cells in your body cannot produce that disease with a small number. It has to match the number that's diseased through your genes. So we're a community is what he was trying to say, and things just don't happen with a few cells, a few genes, a few people in the community. It requires the community, quote unquote, as a whole or collectively in a large enough number to produce a negative result. I thought that was kind of interesting. I had always thought, well, I kind of knew better more recently, but I remember there was a time where I thought, you upregulate a disease gene and you have that disease. Not even true. You end up with certain cells, maybe just a few cells in your body, and in your pancreas, for instance, or somewhere, and all of a sudden you have a disease in your pancreas. Well, it doesn't work that way. It requires a large number of cells and genes and whatever in your community as a person, or in your community here on Earth, or in the United States, or in your country, or your state, or your whatever. So reprogramming. Reprogramming is if your life is not going very well and you feel like you're struggling and you feel like it's an uphill battle, and that's your body telling you that your belief system is in conflict with the way you think. The belief system that you're running off of 95, 91, 99% of the time is in conflict with who you are. It doesn't apply any longer. Right? So there's several different ways to change your beliefs. Everything's energy, right? So what we have to do is we have to get our energy up high enough so that our frequency goes up, right? And then we're able to get new beliefs. We're able to be creative, erase the old beliefs that don't apply anymore, and be creative enough to develop new beliefs that we put in place of that. And then your life is no longer in stress and conflict. The 1 or 2 or 5% of the time that you're in your conscious mind each day, right, is when you're creative. And again, the majority of people, 90 to 100% of people, depending on what group you're studying, are running off their program. That's the old adage that everybody talks about of you're in the matrix, and you're just down a rabbit hole and you're following everything that you've been told to do. And as long as you wake up every day and feel like the world's the same as it was yesterday, then you're fine. But the fact of the matter is you're just living a program. You're just a computer. You're just living out a program that was given to you that's not even yours. And if you take the blue pill, as they talk in the Matrix, which was not a movie, it was a documentary, you continue to stay in the program and everything's fine and you're happy and everybody's happy and you're just going down the rabbit hole deeper and deeper every day, doing what people want you to do. That's a pretty scary thought when you think in terms of the governments behind that, and pharmaceutical companies are behind that, and look at all the media and the propaganda that you're given every day, listening to the radio as well as watching TV and stuff. It's downright scary. Whereas if you take the red pill, where you're given the option of you can also take the red pill, then you pop out of the matrix. You're no longer in a program, and you're able to be creative. Now, all of a sudden, instead of being in the 1%, 2, 3, 5% of the day that you're actually conscious, you're now increasing the amount of being conscious in each day. It might grow from 1% to 5 to 8 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 25% of your day. You're now being creative. This is where your desires and wishes come true. This is where your manifestations happen. This is where your self-healings occur. This is where wellness happens. Right? And the longer that you can go and block every single negative thought and emotion that puts you back in the program, excuse me, and replace that, with new belief systems that allow you to be creative or live in your conscious brain, not your subconscious brain, all right? The greater the possibility is that you're going to live a happy life. You're not going to have disease. You're not going to get sick. You're not going to have illnesses. You're not going to deal with anxiety and depression and anger and hostility and envy and all of those negative emotions that just upregulate genes, diseased genes, that influence all the cells in your body, right? So in order to reprogram, there's several different ways. There's new psychology. Old psychology don't go to. Old psychology, and again, please understand, 43 years of old psychology is what I did clinically, hour after hour, but old psychology takes people and makes them relive the old emotions, the hurt and the pain and the trauma, right? You can do that forever, year after year after year after year. It's called psychotherapy, right? The therapist gets a great vacation several times a year based on people coming in and thinking that this is actually going to help them, when all that they're doing is dealing with the conscious side of your brain. Your belief system is not on the conscious side of your brain, it's on the subconscious side of your brain. It's an artifact. It's something that you acquired when you were a kid. So when any therapist is trying to reprogram your belief systems and is dealing with the conscious side of your brain, get up and walk out. Ask for your money back. It's not going to work. It's not ever going to work. So anyway, there's new psychology, and there's several categories under this category of energy psychology. Probably for the next few days we'll get into this, but it gets a little complicated and deep, and I'm trying to just take it apart in pieces for you. But since we're comprised of energy, all of our thoughts are energy, all of our feelings are energy. Everything that came from our belief system is energy. We are energy. We are not matter. If you take this all down, like I said last night, and take the human apart, we're down to the atoms, and inside the atoms, as we talked about yesterday, everything's energy and waves. There is no particle or matter associated with it. So the new psychology, which is energy psychology or psychology of energy, and then there's 4 or 5 different subcategories of that where they have specific methods to deal with those belief systems that are on the subconscious side of your brain. Okay? Let me give you this. Well, I guess I got going pretty long. Let me just give you this last tidbit. So, your thoughts are not inside your body or your head. Your thoughts are out here, around your head, around your body. Think in terms of we are enmeshed, we're energy, and we're enmeshed with everything else, animals, plants, other people. Just like when you can walk up near somebody, you already know whether it's a positive or a negative thing because that's energy. Their thoughts and your thoughts are out here. Both of your thoughts, for both you and the other person, are not inside of us, are not inside of our minds. Psychology of energy has devices that don't even get near your body, nor do they touch any part of you or your head. And they can tell you what you're thinking. And they can read your energy thoughts. And they can alter them in a matter of, I don't know, max might be 10 or 15 minutes. Kind of science fiction stuff, but this is the way it's going. It's like when I was talking to you about the electrical cycles, in our body and how you can just recharge and reboost the electrical current, and you can cure people of all kinds of things. So I want you to think about reprogramming in terms of how do you eliminate the old beliefs and put in new beliefs, understanding that everything is energy. I had another lengthy story I was going to tell about today. I actually encountered this exact same thing, and it turned out really, really well. So because I'm already over, what am I at, 32 minutes already, so I'm already over tomorrow, or later tonight, I don't know, maybe I'll get up after midnight or something and do another podcast, but I want you guys to understand that what I'm trying to explain to you does actually work. So anyway, we're looking forward to several more days in 70s, I believe, and we don't have any rain. I don't know, they said there's a possibility of some snowflakes next, like Tuesday or something. I'm not sure what that's about. But anyway, take care of one another. God bless everybody, and I'll look forward to talking to y'all again real soon. We'll see you. Bye.